It's fine.
Hi
everyone.
Hey everybody! Here's the 5th grade team live from my house. We hope that you're all having a wonderful summer. We're going to start with some introductions and then we'll get into what the year's going to be like. All right, slide down. Hi, my name is Kelsey Brazelli, which I know is a little bit of a shock, so I wanted to go first. I am formerly known as Miss Brennan. I got married last fall and decided over the summer to change my name. It's been a really wonderful summer. I'd like to introduce you to my husband, Brian.
Hi.
We had a really fun summer. We got to go on our honeymoon. We went to Bryce and Zion National Park out in Utah, and we had a lot of fun out there. Brian and I also have a cat. He's probably around here somewhere, but he's a little like squirmish, and I wasn't sure if he was going to be too into a video. So this is Wedge. He is awesome, and he's a lot of fun. He has an enormous cat tree that is over in the corner of my house that everyone's like, oh my gosh, that's incredible, that he loves to be on. I love everything Star Wars. I know if you have ever seen my classroom or have been around my classroom on May 4th, we always celebrate May the 4th be with you. I'm really excited for the new Star Wars movie that is coming out in December, and I can't wait to meet you all. I am now going to introduce Ms. Goodwin.
Hi everyone, happy summer. We have a couple more days to celebrate. My name is Ms. Goodwin. I like to be called Ms. as in Z. I want to introduce you to my family. So first of all, this is my son, Noah. He lives in Las Vegas. This is when he was climbing on Red Rock Canyon. This is my daughter and her husband, Jillian and Craig. And the newest member of our, well, let me show you somebody else first. Okay, this is Sammy and Delilah, like Miss Brennan. Like Ms. Brazelli.
Ooh.
I have cats too. I have 2 cats, Sammy and Delilah. They're sisters. And the newest member of my family and the most exciting part of my summer was my new grandchild. This is Parker Rose. She was born on June 21st. And I have spent the summer with Parker and my daughter having lots of adventures, which is always interesting with the little infant. I like to garden. I love to read. I like to decorate. And I am really looking forward to having a new class this year and teaching with Miss Brennan. Oh, I did it again.
It's going to be hard.
It's going to be hard for me and you. Okay. Enjoy the last few days of summer, and we will see you soon. And next up is Mr. Pearson.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mr. Pearson, and I look forward to meeting you all in the coming days ahead. I hope you all had a wonderful summer. I had a very eventful summer, actually starting in April. My wife and I had twin girls that were born right after April vacation. So I was, the Wednesday night, I was reading all these reading group books, ready to go to plan my lessons, and all of a sudden it was time to go to the hospital. And I was out from that Wednesday after April vacation to now, actually. So I've had a wonderful summer and extended time with my 2 newest members of the family. And here's a picture of them. This is Kinsley, I think, and this is Adeline, or is it Kinsley and Adeline? Adeline Kinsley. We're still trying to keep track of them, but they are wonderful babies, and we're so happy to have them in our family. We also have a 3-year-old named Colby, and she kind of adds a lot of excitement while we're taking care of the babies and holding them. She's keeping us very busy. So this is her at her 3rd birthday, and she had a kitty cat birthday party, and we don't have any kitties. We have a dog. So I don't know where the kitty cat theme came from, but she was all about it. So we had a kitty cat theme. And finally, we have our dog, Henry, who is the original member of the family. And he has his big bro bandana on because he is the bro of the family. And so that's us. So we've had a very busy summer. Our first outing was to the dog park. and we had to take 2 cars. I had the dog in the double stroller, and my wife had the children. And so that was a great summer trip. So I'm excited to have you all. I'm excited to meet you. I love to read, and I love the Patriots. I'm looking forward to the upcoming schedule, and I'm looking forward to working with Mr. Roy, and that's our first year working together. So I will now introduce Mr. Roy.
Ta-da! Hello, everyone. My name is Mr. Roy, as Mr. Pearson already pointed out. I am also very excited to get to know all of you and start this new school year. Over the summer, I really just relaxed a lot. I didn't really do anything, which was amazing. I went to the beach a little bit and just kind of relaxed. Some exciting news that happened towards the end of last year for me was that I got engaged over April vacation, which means I am getting married at the end of this school year, Memorial Day weekend in May. I'm not going to change my name in the middle of the school year, so don't worry about learning anything new. Here is a picture of my fiance. His name is Tom. That's us all dressed up to go to somebody else's wedding. And we also have a dog that's a part of our little family. His name is Rusty. He's a Siberian Husky, and he's one of the most spoiled dogs that you will ever meet. So we have a lot of fun playing with him, and that's pretty much it for my summer. Fun fact about me, kind of like how Miss Brizelli's, that's a weird thing to get used to, not Brennan, Miss Brizelli's Star Wars obsession, I have my own mini obsession with Harry Potter. So if there are any Harry Potter fans out there, I am with you. Okay. So that's it about me. I'm going to have Ms. Goodwin and Ms. Brizelli come back into the camera to talk a little bit more.
This feels like a interview or something.
It does.
Okay, we're here to talk a little bit about what the teams are like. This year in 5th grade, for the first time in a long time, we've only have 3 classrooms of students. We've had 4 classrooms of students for a long time. So we have had kind of the same model going on, but this year it's going to look a little bit different. So if you are in homeroom 27 or homeroom 33, you will be part of a 2-teacher team. You will have Ms. Goodwin for ELA, and you'll have me for Ms. Brizelli. And we have to say it a million times to also practice for math, science, and social studies. Do you want to say a little bit about what that looks like?
Sure. So the way that works is that whoever is your homeroom teacher, so if I'm your homeroom teacher, then you will come to room 27 first. If Ms. Brizelli is your homeroom teacher, you'll go to room 33 first for the first part of the day. So you'll spend about 2 hours with us in our various classes, and then we'll go to our specials at 11:15, and then we will go to lunch at 12:15. That's right, isn't it?
12:15.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
we're getting to know it too.
Lunch is 12:15 to like 12:30 if you're gonna have like the 15-minute lunch, or 12:45 if you want the extended lunch. But at 12:30, you'll be able to go outside for recess from about 12:30 to 1 o'clock.
Right. And what will generally happen is before you go to lunch, you'll gather all your belongings and move to your other classroom. So we'll practice that a whole bunch, don't worry, and until you feel very comfortable going back and forth. And then in the afternoon, you'll switch to the other classroom. So room 27 goes to room 33, room 33 comes to room 27. And for the first part of the afternoon, we're going to do something together. Most times. Sometimes we might do something separate, but we'll play it by you. But we have a little time for team time, so we'll do something together as a team. And then we'll go back to the schedule from the morning, the same schedule, but you'll be having it in the afternoon.
Right.
So we'll go reading, writing, and then reading, writing.
And then we'll go, usually it's math, then science or social studies, and then in the afternoon it'll be math, then science and social studies. So it's a nice flow of the day. We're pretty excited. The school day is a little bit different this year. Just a kind of a reminder to everybody, our day will start at 9:15 and end at 3:30. You know, like how you would kind of line up and wait at about like 8:50. before the bell started last year. This year, it'll start around 9 o'clock. The teachers will be outside. They'll be greeting you in the morning, and then the bell will ring at 9:15, and we will come into the building at 9:15.
And then we'll start to dismiss you later in the day too.
Right.
So just make sure that you're aware of that so you're not late for your bus, because your bus times will probably be different than they have before.
Right. I think the district is sending some information out on that.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So we're going to turn it over to Mr. Pearson and
Mr. Roy.
Mr. Roy. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, just let us know.
Yeah, one of
Okay.
us will be
At manning
on
the
the
computer.
computer. So we'd love to hear from you. Even if you just want to chime in and say hi on the chat, we're having a lot of fun seeing who's here.
Yeah.
Also, you might see Wedge. He seems to be very interested right now in being on the table. So he might just walk through.
Okay. All right,
All right.
Mr. Roy. Mr. Pearson.
Right.
We're back.
I'm going to start it on how we're a little bit different.
So our model is a little different. Mr. Roy and I will have the Team 31 students for all of the day, and we will teach all of the subjects to the kids. So our schedule that we have, Team 31 students will come into Team 31 in the mornings, and we will start with reading.
Yeah.
And then we will have science and social studies. So from 9:15 to about 10:15, we'll have reading. And then from 10:15 to 11:15, we will have either science or social studies. So we'll have units, either science units that will last maybe 6 weeks or so. And then we'll switch to social studies and kind of flip-flop throughout the year. And then at 11:15, we go to a special. And Team 31 students, just so you know, on the first day of school, we do have gym. So please bring your sneakers and
PE, if Mr. Greenhouse
PE,
is watching.
Sorry, Mr. Greenhouse. We do have PE. So please bring your sneakers, comfortable shoes, so you can participate. And then we have lunch and recess. And then we have our social emotional learning time. I think will be scheduled then at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
And do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah,
Sure.
so we have a bunch of flexibility with what we can do with that time. I know in the past we've done, you may have done circles, and so we're going to do a lot of circles during that time period. We also are going to, have time to do things together. We might join up with Ms. Goodwin and Ms. Brazelli's classes during that time so that the whole 5th grade can do some fun activities together as well. And then the rest of your afternoon will be, what's it first? It's math.
So then we have math.
And then the last subject of your day will be writing. And then we'll be dismissed at 3:30.
So, and we have some flexibility in our schedule. So in Team 31, we will be teaching math at the same time as, let's say, Mrs. Brazelli. So there are times that we might share students or kind of be flexible in that sense with the groupings, if and when we can, for whatever reason. Same with the SCL time, the social emotional time, that we can, as a grade level, get together. So even though Team 31 students are kind of in room 31 for the majority of the day, there will be opportunities throughout the year to kind of meet with other students and mingle with them, in addition to lunch and recess time. So, and here is our special guest, our furry friend. So I think that's our schedules for both groups. Do we all want to come back together and do some of the topics
Sure.
that we'll study this year?
I'm going to stand.
Okay.
I'm coming in the back. Also, can everybody hear us? We want to make sure that we can be heard. Give us a thumbs up emoji in the chat if you can hear us.
The books are falling.
We have lots of books. We're readers here. Speaking of reading, who wants to talk about reading?
We're talking about our favorite books.
No.
No,
topics.
just the
Topics.
subject of reading.
Oh, topic
Okay.
studies.
You
Okay.
start.
Reading?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it.
So in reading, you will soon find out that all of us are avid readers. In fact, we're even going to put up special posters outside our room so we can tell you what we're currently reading at any given time. So you can be on the lookout for that if you want to know what you're reading. We have lots of books, and we love to recommend books to you when you ask, but we want you to explore our libraries because we have We've worked really hard on collecting some great books, and this summer we've read a whole bunch of brand new books that came out, and we want to share them with you too. So we'll be reading all different types of books over the course of the year. You want to jump into that?
And one of the things that we want to instill in all of you is the love of reading. So not only are we going to teach you different reading strategies throughout the year, we really want you to love reading. And we will all be working hard to try to, as Ms. Goodman said, recommend books to you and just kind of have fun ways to kind of really engage reading with you and your families at home. And we want you to leave 5th grade really loving reading. And it's okay if you are entering 5th grade not really liking it so much, but we hope to kind of work with you and turn that around. And so we really are really passionate readers. We always share books with each other.
Always.
We get titles from students that, like, Mr. Pearson, you have to read this book. So we're so excited to kind of share our love of reading with you.
Right. And make sure you follow us on Twitter, because we often tweet books that we're reading, and we tweet to the authors, and we're going to have you tweet to the authors too. And it's so fun when authors tweet back to us.
Yeah, it is fun. Hi, Abby. Hope you're having a great summer, and thanks for logging on. I can see your hi with a thumbs up from all the way back here.
There you go.
Mr. Do you want to talk about math?
Sure.
Okay.
In math, we do all sorts of things, but we focus a lot on place value, a lot on fractions, a lot on decimals, and doing all sorts of operations, add, subtract, multiply, divide, and a bunch of other things with those topics. Something that we really like about our math class is how we work in a workshop model. So we will learn something all together, but then we will all go off and do different activities that are related to what we're learning. And we'll all get to rotate through those activities so that we're not just sitting still in our desks for a long period of time, but we're moving, we're in smaller groups, and we're meeting with the teacher every day. So all of those things are going to make math a lot more fun and engaging, because you can meet with us and talk to us about it, and you're not just, sitting still and doing math problems, but you're doing some more hands-on things. What else? Writing?
So reading, right? Yeah. So in writing, so we have a lot of different really interesting and fun writing units. So we will start off with our narrative unit. So we will learn about what makes a really good story, and kind of reading really good stories will help us write really good stories. So we will start off the unit with that, the year with a narrative unit, and then we'll do literary essay, I believe. And then we have a really interesting and fun unit called the feature article unit, where 5th graders can write about something that you're an expert on, which could be anything at all. And we have really fun ways of sharing that writing. So it's not just, typing it on a paper. There are some other ways that we can share our writing with others. So we'll start to begin to look at who our audience is and who's going to read our work and how we're going to share it, which format, and which different ways, technologically, how we can share our writing with others. So that was the narrative, the literary essay, feature article, and then what else we have?
Hopefully we'll be able to do a memoir. We usually like to end the year on memoir. Sometimes we don't have enough time, but we're going to try, Mr. Pearson.
Right? We do like a research-based essay too, where you research a topic and then write an essay about that. So
we do lots of writing, and we respond to our reading with writing too. So that will be fun. And we read books online, and we read books together, and audiobooks, and we do all kinds of reading. So we are really excited for that part of 5th grade, and we hope you will too. All right, here comes a special guest.
Special guest.
Costume change.
Social studies and science.
While talking about social studies, I might show off my favorite coat, which is my red coat, because in this unit, we study the American Revolution. So the social studies is all about kind of coming to the Americas and, the establishment of the United States of America as we know it today. So we kind of start way, way back with like the Vikings and the pre-Columbian civilizations that were here. It's really exciting to kind of learn about their lives and see, what this country was before the Europeans kind of came in and took over. We eventually, at the end of the school year, get to the American Revolution, which is obviously my favorite topic. One thing I didn't talk about in my introduction was the fact that I am a Revolutionary War Re-Enactor. I am a corporal in His Majesty's 10th Regiment of Foot, which is a reenacting unit out of Lexington and Concord. And so every year on Patriots Day, some people like to run marathons. I like to reenact our local history. We'll be studying not only the American Revolution, but the establishment of the government as we know it today. So it's a really intensive social studies curriculum. Mr. Pearson is looking forward to getting to teach it again this year. We thought back to like our first couple years teaching together, and Mr. Pearson and I used to have a blast teaching social studies. And so we're excited to be able to go back and do that together again. The other topic that we haven't talked about is science. And we have a lot of amazing science topics that we're going to be studying this year. Science is broken into kind of big units that kind of talk about Earth as a system. And so each of the topics that we study kind of intersect and kind of come together in the big kind of Earth system. So the first unit that we're going to be talking about is kind of like, what is a scientist? What is an engineer? And then we get into the water cycle. We talk about life systems. We get into how the Earth, the Sun, and the Moon are related. And by the end of the school year, we're doing kind of some MCAS reviews. We're talking about matter and how that interacts with matter and its interactions. So we kind of talk about matter and how it changes from one form or one phase to another. A lot of the science that we do is hands-on. You get to kind of do experiments. We start off the year with a really fun water filtration experiment, which you're going to love. If you have any older siblings, which I know some of you do that have been in 5th grade, ask them about the water filter because that was kind of a favorite. There's a ton that we do in 5th grade. We have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun teaching together, and we're really excited to bring you the curriculum for this year.
Right, and just to know that even though some of us just teach certain subjects, that doesn't mean we don't dovetail with other subjects. So sometimes you might be science and you might be writing about science, or it could be social studies, you could be reading about social studies. So we want you to know that although we are separate teachers, we work with everybody.
Awesome. Some reminders that we have for you is to make sure that you get your supplies if you have not already. Is it on the website?
It could be on the school website.
Yeah.
It's definitely in the email that you got from Ms. Schechter a couple of days ago, and we will resend it out to you in the coming days.
And if you ordered your school supplies in advance through the school, remember there were a couple things on there. One specifically is the technology fee that was not on that list. And the earbuds, not headphones.
Earbuds.
No headphones, earbuds.
Awesome.
So we want to remind you that there was a 5th grade application that we had asked everyone to fill out. So that's just a way for us to get to know you and your families and kind of some of who you are. And, that just kind of helps us get to know each and every one of you. So if you could fill that out.
That would be awesome.
On Flipgrid, we've watched them. We've enjoyed getting to know you already on your Flipgrids, and they've been very funny and they've been wonderful. So thank you if you've already shared one of those. And then we have a prop for the next reminder.
Okay, the next reminder is we have made a pledge that we want to share with you that we will have no recycled water bottles. So like no Poland Spring. So the problem is that Mr. Pearson and Mr. Roy and Ms. Brizzelli all do that, but I am the culprit. So I have been using my Poland Spring bottles, and they have all shamed me into it. So I want to do a little show and tell of my brand new water bottle, and I'm going to try really hard to join the club. Okay, so join me in 0 plastic bottles. Okay.
And next we have our favorite books to share with you. So each of us chose a favorite book that we read over the summer, and we want to share them with you. So I will go first. So this is The Remarkable Journey of Coyote Sunrise, and it's by Dan Gemeinhart. And this was a wonderful book. Dan Gemeinhart writes a lot of great, 5th grade level books that kids love. We read some of them in reading groups during the year, but he's a very popular author. This book is about a girl named Coyote Sunrise. She lives in a school bus with her father, and she ends up driving across country for a certain reason. I'm not going to tell you why. And she's on a mission, and she meets all these different people along the way, and she picks them up on the ride. And it's a wonderful story about family and relationships, and just kind of her interactions with the different characters she meets. So it's a wonderful story. Again, the author is Dan Gemeinhart, and we highly recommend him as a very popular 5th grade author that we know that you will enjoy.
Okay. My favorite book of the summer, which actually what I like about my favorite book is that it was a recommendation from students of ours last year. And I kept meaning to read it, and I didn't have time until I had the summer. So the book that I wanted to show all of you is a book called Out of My Mind. It's by Sharon Draper, who's also another really famous and wonderful author. What I love about this book, it's about a girl named Melody, and I don't want to give too much of her story away because I think it's really wonderful to learn about her while you read. But what I will say is that Ms. Goodwin always talks about how a book can be a mirror. So you might read a book and it's like you're looking in the mirror because you have so much in common with the person that you're reading about, and you can really relate to the character and you understand them, and that's why it's so wonderful for you. But then other books are like windows, where you're looking inside a window at somebody else's life that's nothing like yours, and it helps you learn more about other people. And this is a window. I'm nothing like this character really, except for maybe her sarcasm. And but it allowed me to see what a life of somebody like her would be like. And that was really awesome. So definitely recommend it. Out of My Mind. You're up.
Okay, so I wanted to go after Mr. Roy because my book is called Blended, and it is also by Sharon Draper. This was one of the first books that I read this summer. Miss Goodwin and I have been participating in a reading kind of challenge over the past couple of years where we try to read a book a day in the month of July. And I have to say I have not finished my book a day yet. But it is something that I continue to do over the next couple of days. This is one of the first books I read, like I said, and it was just an amazing book. It blew my mind. Sharon Draper, her words and the way that she describes the characters in her book are just incredible. The kind of flow that all of the words have and the way that each chapter was put together was just incredible. I love this book because it is about a family that has to deal with so much, and in particular, the youngest daughter, or the only child actually of two parents, is kind of split between two homes and at some points two identities. And I think it's a really amazing book that a lot of students can relate to. Just like Mr. Roy was talking about, this is a book that was a window for me as well. And I think it's helped me to understand a lot about what my students, especially students that live in two different homes and have kind of two different families, go through every day. So Blended by Sharon Draper, fantastic read. Ms. Goodwin, you're up.
Okay, so one of the fun things about being voracious readers with my colleagues is that sometimes we have to duke out who's going to do what book, because everybody brought certain books to the table and we had to negotiate who was going to get to do which one, because most of us have read all those books and we love them. And I have to say, I did do 31 books in July, and it was hard to pick a book. There were many, many books that I love. So if you follow us on Twitter, you'll see I tweeted every single book that I read and something about what they were about. So I decided to do this book, which is called Catching a Storyfish. I might read this book out loud to the class because I was really taken by this book. So one of the cool things about this book is it's written in verse. So if some of you have never read a book in verse, you're going to read one in 5th grade. But this one was fun to read because it's a little bit different. And it's a story of a young girl. They call her Keat, as in parakeet. She comes from Alabama, and they call her that because if you ever had a parakeet, you know that they talk all the time, and she talked a lot, and that's what her family called her. But then she moves from Alabama to Illinois, and she has a Southern accent. So when she gets there, people make fun of her and they don't understand her, the way she talks. And it's really hard for her to make friends. She doesn't have any friends until later on in the story, and a boy moves into the town that also doesn't have any friends, and they both figure out how they can help each other. So this is a great book. I really enjoyed it. Catching a Storyfish by, let me see who the author is here. I forgot who it was.
So many
Something
books,
Harrington. Yeah. Oh, Janice Harrington. And I had never heard of this author before, but I read about this book on Twitter, and that's what made me read it. So you can do the same thing. All right. So at this point, we just want to open it up for the last few minutes for any questions that you might have. And I noticed someone asked a question about, will we show you how to follow us on Twitter? And yes, we will do that. Okay. Do you have any other questions?
Do you want to say what our Twitter handles are?
Okay. So my Twitter handle is @community_27. Miss Brennan, what is yours?
And you suggested to share it.
I know.
I recently changed mine. It
Yeah.
is Ms. MS Brizelli, BRISELLI 33.
Okay.
At Ms. Brizelli 33. And Mr. Pearson
Mr.
is
Pearson is at Pearson Team 31.
We're gonna have to get.
At Pearson Team 31.
I am going to get a teacher Twitter this year.
We're doing this to Mr. Roy,
I'm
so
going
I
to
should
do
do
it.
hers too.
I will give you yours when we start. Mine when we start school.
It's really easy to follow us on Twitter. Even if you don't have a Twitter, that's okay. You can kind of see what we're up to if you go to twitter.com and just search any of our Twitter handles. You can see all of the things that we post. If you have a Twitter account, you can follow us or you can interact with us a little bit more. We will post on Twitter not only like wonderful book recommendations, but also we will post like pictures of what's happening in the classroom, or what are we doing on the weekend, or what has our cat gotten into, or our dog. So that's something that you can kind of see and get to know us in a little bit of a different way. I will say for all of us, it is your quickest way to know what's happening in the classroom from day to day, because we will post in the middle of the day. Whereas sometimes we will send a newsletter, but that newsletter might not come out till the end of the week. So it is the fastest way to know what's kind of going on every single day. Any other questions? Is there anything there?
What's your Twitter handle again?
Mine's at MS BRISELLI 33.
We do not have Instagram.
We do not have class Instagrams. I don't think, Mr. Pearson, do you
I
have
don't
one?
have a class Instagram.
Okay. But you should follow. There are some amazing Instagrams at our school. You should follow the Dunning Art Instagram if you are not already following it. You can see all of the artwork that is happening in the school, and that is an amazing, amazing person to follow. So that's, if you haven't followed that, then you should. Any other questions? Feel free to ask. Okay.
This is Miss Goodwin from behind. Okay, one thing.
Want me to turn it?
No.
Okay.
One thing to think about is it's really hot in the school right now. We were all in school today getting the classrooms ready. So make sure you dress very comfortably and bring lots of water.
Yeah.
Not in a Poland Springs bottle.
We will let you fill up your water bottle, of course, during the day. The water fountain in the hallway is working. I think it was not working at the end of the school year, but now it is working, and it is cold, as are the fountains that are in our classrooms. Any other questions? Can we think of anything that we missed, team?
I don't think so.
Mr.
So
Pearson?
one other subject, one other special that we have once a week is health with Mrs. Kinsella, and that might be the most popular 5th grade class.
Oh, help!
Yeah.
And it's 30
Sorry,
minutes.
Mrs. Kinsella.
Mrs. Kinsella is an amazing, hysterical,
So funny.
informative health teacher, and you will love health and learn everything there is to know about everything you might want to know about. So that is,
And not want to know.
and not want to know about. So that is once a week for 30 minutes, and that she goes to each of our classrooms. So she'll kind of do one class at a time. So that's
Maybe a little technology.
Well, also we're going to have library media, and that will be a time that is kind of in flux this year. The kind of setup in there, and the amount of time that you're going to be in the Library Media Center is going to change this year. We don't know a ton about what that's going to look like yet, but it will be a place that you will go every week. Something that's new this year is that you're going to have a special every single day of the week, which is not kind of something that you have had in the past. Each of the specials that you have are 55 minutes long, and in that time frame, you will either be going to art with Mrs. Gold, PE with Mr. Greenhouse, something new with Mr. Roberge. That sounds awesome and really fun. There is a new band teacher that we don't know his name yet, and you will have a kind of library media block, and those will be your specials for the 5 days during the week. Is that right? I think that's right.
Okay, last call for questions.
Awesome. Okay, well, it was wonderful to get to connect with everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I know that it's a busy time of year, and we know that we're all kind of sneaking in those last moments of vacation. What do you guys?
Also, just know we've recorded this, so we're going to send out the link. So if you want to watch it again, feel free. And for those people that weren't able to make it, they'll get a chance to see it too.
Of course. What are the last hurrah plans for everyone?
Beach.
Changing diapers.
Changing diapers, Mr. Roy?
I might copy the beach idea.
Okay.
I have to finish classwork before school starts.
Okay.
Have a wonderful rest of your summer, and we will see you on
See you
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Okay.
Yes, we do.
Alrighty.